Welcome back to another edition of Gary's Record Collection. We've probably covered this before. I was in band. I was a band geek. I was in band from fourth grade right through senior year in high school. I played the baritone. I was in the wind ensemble. I was in the marching band. I was in the jazz band. And like any band they had, apparently I was in. That's the way it was when you were a kid in school and you played an instrument and you were in the band. And I learned a lot, and I was exposed to a lot of different music. So a lot of what you see on the channel with all the records that I have, that came, that diversity came from being in band and being exposed to different styles, different genres, different artists. So I was not ever pigeonholed into one artist, one genre. You might think I'm like a Led Zeppelin guy. I am. However, I'm a Herb Alpert guy. And Chuck Mangione, and I've got classical records in there too. It's like every time I see a record of Scheherazade, which I played in the ninth grade, I can't resist. Pick that up. I pick up the Pines of Rome every time I see it. Played that in bed. That was great. Has nothing to do with rock and roll or anything, but it was good music, and so I like it. Being in marching band. One of the things you do, you play a lot of marches, and there are classic marches out there. Every kid who was in band learned them, and so did I. And so much so that I had to get, I need these on a record, right? So I'm going through like the Goodwill or the Salvation Army one day, and here's what I find. John Philip Sousa, the king of all marches, by the way, the John Philip Sousa album of marches. This is by the Pride of the 48 Band. So this is an old recording, sometime after 1948. Probably, I think I may have seen this as dated as like 1954. But it's got all the classics on it here. It's like Stars and Stripes Forever, Washington Post March, King Cotton, El Capitan, Semper Fidelis, Liberty Bell March. It's like everything that I played in school. And it was funny because there was these, when we played these marches, especially out on the field, you'd have your horn, and then on the top there'd be this little thing, almost kind of looks like this, the little thing that would stick on the top of your horn, and then your music would be right here. You'd have your music right in front of you, so you didn't have to necessarily memorize everything. But the marches were great, so I memorized it anyway, right? So being that we're on Veterans Day weekend here, I thought what better time to put something on the channel with very patriotic John Philip Sousa marches. And it kicks right off with Stars and Stripes Forever. What's interesting about this one is there's really two themes within this song. So you've got this whole first part here, and we're going to skip ahead to where it kicks into the second theme. So now I was in the low brass, so like this next section, this was us, man. Here we come. We've got something to say, and here it is. And there was nothing greater than playing that descending line. Now in the flute piccolo section, this is always a solo for those guys, way up front. We'll skip ahead too. comes together right here. 3.5 minutes later, it's done. But it was a great statement anyway. The next one is the Washington Post March. And I don't know if I actually ever played this in band, but you know where I heard it? Cartoons. And if you're not sure which cartoons I'm referring to, I'm going to go back. We're going to play it again. And I'll do the narration. This is I think the cartoon was called Bunny Hugged, and it was just the one where Bugs Bunny took on the wrestler. It's like, here you go. Now, you listen to this and you hear the commentary, it's like, oh, it fits perfectly. Ladies and gentlemen, a wrestling contest, etc., etc., etc. For the World Heavyweight Champion. In this corner, Ravishing Ronald. And in this corner, the Crusher. This is great, though. And isn't it true? It's like a lot of this music, marches and classical stuff, didn't we all learn this from Bugs Bunny cartoons? And the correct answer is yes, we did. It's funny to go through and it's like, oh, I know that. I know that those songs from Bugs Bunny. It's like, how do you know, all of these? It's like, I watched a lot of cartoons. So I heard the Washington Post March and was like, this is great. El Capitan, we played this one. Here we go. And we also played, we're going to skip ahead to Thunderer's March. Let's skip ahead a little bit. And again, now the low brass part, which is like, that's where we were, man. It's like, oh, you need a march? Come see us in the low brass section. We'll take care of you. All right, Semper Fidelis. Oh. at this point, I'm going to ask, what does this sound like? These marches, I'm not going to say that they sound the same, but they have elements in them that sound like they could be in one song. It could be in another march, in one march and another march. And I stopped it there because it's like I want to get to the next one, which is probably the best one of all, other than Stars and Stripes Forever, because it was, of course, used for the theme for Monty Python, the Liberty Bell March. Here it is. How many of you are thinking this is Sousa versus how many of you are thinking this is Monty Python? I'm guessing 99% Python. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I'm obviously repurposed, and it took a life of its own being part of Monty Python, the Monty Python and the Flying Circus. But Sousa's marches, you just can't go wrong with those. They are great. They are a staple of band. If you're in marching band, if you were in marching band, you played these. If you're, thinking about playing in a band, guess what? You're going to play these songs. These are classics. But it's a great way. These are great things to learn. Great to be exposed to all of these different styles of music. Just don't sit in one genre. Find a lot of different genres and appreciate everything that's in there. There you go. John Philip Sousa. It is the pride of the 48 band. I wore this out. You could hear those crackles in that vinyl. I played that a whole heck of a lot. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on Gary's Record Collection.